One. All right, people, we are live. This is episode 97. Everyone's a pundit. And without further ado, apologies for us being a bit late. It's 8:52. We're meant to start 8:30. Few technical glitches and gremlins behind the scenes on my end. So it was my fault, peeps, and not the other guys. But yeah, let's get into it. I'm joined by two fantastic pundits and guests. We've got two more guys jumping on. I'm not sure what's going on, but they will be here shortly. But yeah, let's start this and just get it cracking. So we've got obviously a super Liverpool fan here and a super Leicester fan. So we're going to start with the Liverpool guy. Mons, do your thing, bro.
Listen, first of all, thanks for having me on the channel. Do you know what I'm saying? Lateness is greatness, people. So let's not dwell on that. Do you know what I mean? We've got some really good names on the panel today. I don't know if I need my deluded hat on today. I feel like I'm all right today, you know what I'm saying? But listen, if you want to find me anywhere, find me on Big Six Bants, the most toxic channel going, in my opinion. You'll catch Patrick over there from time to time as well. As I'm saying, maybe hopefully the rest of the guys jumping on could jump in one day. And yeah, man, make sure you hit the like and subscribe on this video, and let's just push everyone's content, man. We're doing good things.
Let's go. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, Mons. And we also have a Leicester super fan who had a good result this weekend. So Neil, go ahead, do your thing.
I wouldn't say a good result. I mean, we got slammed by VAR once. It is what it is, man, with that kind of thing. But yeah, you know, we're doing all right. Yeah, you can find us at Beyond the 90 LCFC. But yeah, that Patrick, it's been a while, man. Thanks for having me on once again.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you coming on. And obviously, my name is Patrick Tyrant, aka Young Swaggy Daniels. When you see the T, you see the P. When you see the P, you know, it represents T. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And we are into episode 97. Fantastic week of Premier League football. We're so glad that the Premier League is back. International break, with all due respect, it was hella boring. And yeah, man, we just all, like, everyone was on a decent run. Obviously, there's so many twists and turns, and there's so many, like, stories that need to be ended, and we don't know where they're going to go. So the international break just hit us at the worst time possible. So yeah, I'm just happy it's back. But we'll start from where it started, and we'll just go through all the results. Saturday morning, we started with Liverpool 2, Watford 0. Then we had Brighton 0, Norwich 0, bit of a dead rubber. Then we had Burnley 0, Man City 2. So good result for Man City. Burnley still in the mud right there. Then a shocker, Chelsea 1, Brentford 4. So Brentford put in 4 past Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. No one saw that coming. So this is why we love the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? There's so many twists and turns.
Maybe we should have seen it coming. They played 4 at the back.
So. I know, that's the thing, and we'll touch on it.
Even with them, even with that quality they've got, conceding 4 is a madness. You think about Thiago, Rudiger, these people, like these guys won the Champions League. Not like it's just around the corner.
Champions League. I'm not gonna talk. So, otherwise, they'll come for me again.
Nah, man, you're here to talk your talk. You say whatever you want. You talk your talk. You say your truth. And
Neil, we've got something in common. We both beat them in the final recently. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
you go.
No. Then we had Leeds 1, Southampton 1. So, you know, I mean, not great for Leeds considering that many points on the board. Southampton are pretty much safe, so that's okay for them. A point away from home, you'll take that all day long. Wolves 2, Aston Villa 1. And that was a game where Wolves pretty much were quite comfortable throughout the game, and Aston Villa only started playing in the last 10 minutes, which when you see teams losing and they only turn it on in the last 10, you're like, why didn't you play like this from the beginning of the game, or at least from halfway onwards? Because they could have got something out of that game. Then obviously the big one that we'll talk about with our guy Neil, Man United 1, Leicester 1. And then we move into today's games. West Ham 2, Everton 1. Everton, man, like what's going on there, man? We'll touch on that. And then obviously, last but not least, for today's action, Spurs 5, Newcastle 1. So yeah, man, very happy with that. And obviously we'll talk about that. And then obviously we got Monday Night Football, which is Crystal Palace at home to Arsenal. And that is going to be a very good game considering how the results went today and yesterday. So yeah, so all right, let's
incoming.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I hope so. But it would be rude of me to start with my team, and we've got some obviously fantastic pundits here. So I'm going to start with Mons, considering it's the first game. Liverpool 2, Watford 0. Talk to us, man. What are you saying?
Dirty, stinking wins. Yeah?
Get the points.
It ain't pretty. It ain't pretty. But when you get to the business end of the season, you got to get the results. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if it's by VAR handball. I don't care if it's by an own goal. I don't care if the final whistle's gone and we do a Man U versus Brighton and we get a penalty after the whistle and scum a penalty that way. I don't know. I don't care. As long as you get the 3 points at this part of the season, that's all I care about. I'm not here for the we played well merchants. Them man can. You see what I'm saying? The we played well merchants. Y'all can sit on the other side of the table. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not here for that. Right now, I know as an opposition fan, when I see Chelsea scum a win, a 1-0, dirty 1-0, Jorginho penalty, I'm burning inside because like I feel like, oh, how have they got the 3 points? But they've got the 3 points. So when I see my team getting scummy wins, it gives me 2019, 2020 vibes at times because sometimes that's how it's got to be. You can't blow every team away. I don't think personally the last 7 games, I think only 5 of them we've actually been scummy wins. I'm gonna be straight. You know what I mean? Last five out of the 7 games haven't been scintillating performances going forward, but defensively we've been very, very solid. Watford caused us some problems, and Alisson, for me, not spoken about enough, he's gone and done it again. Makes a key save, we go down the other end and score. Do you know what I mean? So Man City fans, burn. Pep, as I said, burn. Pep, I've said this a few times now. Go back to your Barcelona days as a DM. Start checking your shoulder because I can see myself in your reflection, rude boy. Don't you dare drop another point. Don't you dare. I'm on your club.
Oh man,
you know what?
Like you said, scummy wins. I wouldn't call it a scummy win, to be fair. I thought you was quite comfortable throughout the game. Obviously, at 1-0, it can go either way. 2-0, yeah, you scored a penalty. It was a definite foul in the box, and the grievance from opposition fans will be that this happens week in and week out, and it's not given. But obviously, on Saturday, it was given for you guys.
It
was blatant.
Like, what was he thinking? You know, like, because they were putting us under pressure. I felt like we were autopilot for too long and too much of that game. I needed to see Luis Diaz. As I said, people wanted to do the Mo Salah standard because he pulled out a stinker. He stunk up the gaff today. He stunk up the gaff yesterday, but Mane was no different when he come on. Don't get it twisted. Mane was no different. We have no like-for-like replacement on that right wing unless Harvey Elliott comes in, and even that's not good enough. You know what I mean?
He's 18, man. Yeah.
I need to see. I haven't seen him.
A Salah replacement. You must be crazy.
No way.
You know what I mean?
No way.
So, and that's what I was crying out for. A Luis Diaz, just someone who can get us out of trouble. People were lauding and hailing Jota. Everyone seems to think I have this Jota agenda, but if it weren't for his goal, he stunk up. He was worse than Salah, in my opinion. He couldn't pull off a pass. The ball couldn't stick. It was bouncing off him. Do you know what I mean? Trampoline touch, whatever you want to call it. But again, he did come up with the goal, and I keep it a buck. As long as Jota's scoring, you can play, bro. But the second you stop scoring, we're playing with 10 men. That's the way I see it. Do you know what I mean?
What? So you're not feeling his link-up play and then bringing other people in?
His link-up play is abysmal. It's abysmal. It makes my eyes bleed. We're talking pins and needles in your eye sockets. It's the worst. And I said this when we lost to Leicester, when you guys beat us in New Year's, when you lot beat us during New Year's.
Yeah.
I called out Jota's link-up play then, and my own fans they crucified me. I'm gonna be real. They crucified me in it, and only now they're like, oh yeah. Even Robert said it in an interview. Well, if you let the ball stick to you a little bit better, maybe we'd score some more. Like, do you know what I mean? Even though it was a joke,
it's bantering. There
was realness to it, and for me, Bobby was our best attacker by far.
Yeah, he was good. He was good.
He played. Since he's come back from injury, he's looked all right. So. But it's a headache now because it's like, who do you start? Do you start someone who could possibly just nick a goal but play crap for most of the game? Or do you go with your OG front three and you look for something more cohesive? Yeah. That's the sort of headache. It's a good headache to have, I think. It's a good headache to have because we haven't really had that sort of depth in attack for a while. You sort of used to lose one of the front three and it's all of a sudden it's an issue. So, I don't know, man. I think I'm happy I got the win. I didn't want to complain too much because it feels like I'm ungrateful. Because if we blew them out the water and drew 1-1, I would have been dashing. I would have been breaking plates, smashing windows. So,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
You know what? It's sorry, just to cut you off, Mons. We'll go back to you. I just wanna I just want to introduce Stel to the board and to the panel. Stel's just jumped on. So for the people in the audio, my guy.
Sorry, I'm
Stel
late, boys. Sorry, I'm late.
Nah,
No,
that's all
Fashionably
right, man.
late.
Don't worry about it. It happens. It happens. But yeah, Stel from Shooter Defense. For everyone in the audio, fantastic podcaster and pundit. I'll let him introduce himself. So yeah, Stel, go ahead, man. Quickly drop your drop.
Yeah, just as you said, Shoot the Defense podcast. I did it with Rodri Giggs and Steve Eyre, who was Man City's coach when they won the FA Youth Cup in 2008. Blimey, been doing podcasts for close to 10 years now, man. Got a pretty successful one in Cyprus at the moment with the team I support out there. And it's going great guns. So yeah, can't complain. Thank you very much.
Stel, and what's that podcast so people know? People that are just
No Chofdes podcast. No Chofdes.
Okay.
And
Brilliant.
Chofdes is a Cypriot word for nonsense, so no nonsense.
Okay, fantastic.
We've had some private chat. I'll subscribe to that.
Yeah. We'll put all the
it's in
links
English.
in
Most of it's in English, so don't panic.
Okay.
Not all of it is in Greek. But most of it's in English because we've had a lot of previous guests on who've played for the club. Like I don't know if you remember Zelias that played for Inter in the mid to late 90s with Ronaldo when they won the UEFA Cup.
Okay,
no?
Interesting.
Before your time, then.
I'm too young.
Yeah.
Before your time. Well, he's a Brazilian midfielder that used to play for Inter with Zanetti and Ronaldo and Zamorano and Simeone. They won the UEFA Cup in '98. He played for Omonia for a year, and we got him on the show. And we've had people like Matt Derbyshire and a few others who you may have heard before. But yeah. Before your time, boys. Before your time.
You're killing it.
Sounds good, Stel. Sounds good. And listen, it's all about culture. It's all about learning something new. So we appreciate that, Stel. We will definitely check that out. I'll put all the links in the description when we obviously put out the tweets and the podcast on all formats. So yeah, but anyway, Stel, you're involved in the chat. We're just talking about Liverpool and Watford. Did you manage to catch the game and what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I did. I think the opening 10-15 minutes was a bit cagey. I was quite surprised how many opportunities Watford had at the beginning of the game. But that being said, Liverpool have had a lot of players on international duty. You kind of expect them to be in second gear the first half. I think Klopp gave them a bollocking at half time, in all fairness, because they came out a completely different team. Watford unlucky at the beginning, but I think that's the reason why they're down at the bottom. When you don't take your opportunities, you're going to get punished. And you can't go to Anfield and miss the amount of opportunities they did at the beginning and expect to come away with anything. I think Jota showed his class again. Salah looked a bit tired, but that's to be expected when you played 2 games, traveling to and from Africa. It's not round the corner, So, it's a difficult one, but I think, Liverpool showed, like, I told Semps at the beginning of the season that they'll win the league. And he said, no, it's too early for you to say it, but I'm still certain Liverpool will win the league this season. As a United fan, it pains me to say this, but for me, they've been the best team in England for the past 3 or 4 seasons.
I was going to say,
not last season, but yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Injuries, my friend, injuries. They
didn't want to hear that when we screamed injuries. Them Chelsea fans, they was like, we didn't.
What made you
deal with it?
What made you come out and say that though? What made you say that so early? What was your thoughts behind you coming out with such a bold statement so early on?
Well, the thing is, a lot of it depended on whether or not City signed a striker. Now, people can say to me, yeah, well, they get goals all over the pitch, granted, but you can tell something's lacking with City this season. And I think defensively, while Diaz has been superb, I wouldn't trust Laporte. I wouldn't trust Stones. Carl Walker seems to be, I wouldn't say slowing down per se, but he doesn't seem to be the same Carl Walker. Obviously, they had the issues with Mendy. They got Zinchenko at left back that's in and out of the team. Okay, Cancelo's been fantastic, don't get me wrong. But I think Liverpool have got the depth now. Do you know what I mean? Last season, they had all those injuries, and despite having injuries to Alisson, to Matip, to Van Dijk, to how many players were out for Liverpool last season? It was ridiculous. They had Fabinho and Henderson at centre-back. They had Milner coming in at left-back sometimes. They had all these injuries, but yet they still finished third. They still finished third despite all of those injuries. And people were saying, if Liverpool come into the next season with all the injuries, they're not going to be the same team. Well, this season, they've had a clean bill of health. I mean, how many wins in a row is it now after Watford?
Yeah, no, Mons, you tell us.
In a row, I think it's 9.
9 in a row.
Crazy. Yeah, that's good form.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
And to be fair, that's why they are where they are now. Because obviously, Man City were clear at one point, and we were just saying they're going to walk the league again. And now it is a legitimate 2-horse race.
I weren't saying that, Patrick. I weren't saying that at all.
Okay.
I weren't saying that because what people fail to realize, and this is a simple mistake to make, because obviously you're looking at the fixture list and you're thinking, oh, this one could take points if this is understandable. But we got a little thing called COVID now. And all it takes is an outbreak, and that game is postponed or it's moved, and then the fixture list completely messes up. We're going to talk about Chelsea later, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
We're going to talk about
I'll give you my example later as to where I'm getting at with this. But, you know, the reason why I was so confident that Liverpool were going to challenge is because if you look at them all over the pitch now, they've got they've got 2 players for each positions. I mean, look at Alisson, for example. If he gets injured, Keller can come in and do a job. I mean, he's an upgrade from the last guy they had. Adrian.
He's our cheerleader now. He's our water boy. He's our hype man in the Instagram comments. That's what
this is it.
So he's your Mikel Arteta, yeah? Is that what you're saying? He's your water boy.
Oh, behave yourself. Jesus Christ.
But
trying to have a civil conversation here, and here's you kicking up dust.
Listen, the Arsenal fans are not here. Richie, where are you at, man? Richie's meant to be here, so while he's not here, I'm definitely going to take shots at Arsenal. Why not?
They're rubbing their hands because they'll get third.
Yeah. You think so? You think Arsenal? Anyway, let's hold on a bit. So, Neil, did you watch the Liverpool game? Any thoughts on Liverpool and Watford? Actually, what's your thoughts on both teams and that game early on Saturday?
Well, Liverpool just doing what they're doing, and that's the thing. It's again, the Klopp's getting to play great football, and they're designing a team. Before they had a starting 11, and now they're getting with the likes of Diaz, and looks like Salah's going to sign a new contract, stuff like that. They're getting the wins when they need to, and that's all you want in football. At the end of the day, they're kind of like the perfect team in terms of the Klopp is running it together, but the people behind the scenes are getting the stuff right as well. In terms of the transfers are getting in. And it's just all gelling. Again, and when certain players aren't performing, like they were a lot more reliant on Salah. And when he has a good kick, cool, we can take him out and put another player in his place. Not a problem. We're not reliant on these high players. Trent Alexander, TAA didn't play yesterday, and they still managed to turn out a win. So it shows you the strength and depth is there. I didn't actually watch the match, but yeah, Liverpool have been bossing it for a while, man. So I can't really say too much. But you know what? I'm glad they're up there because again, they've been on a ridiculous run so far, and it's made the Premier League interesting. Everybody hates by the time it gets to January time, and one team's won it. One team's far and away the best team, and it's just boring, man. So everybody was looking at top 4 as the next one, or the relegation zone as actual one. Now it's made the top 4 race interesting, the title race interesting, and then the relegation race interesting. So I'm all here for it.
I agree. We've got 3 legitimate storylines now. We've got the top, the champion. Whoever's going to be champions, we've got that legitimate race back to back. And the fact Liverpool have got to play City makes it even more tantalising. Then obviously we've got the top 4 battle, and we all know what's going on there. And then we have a legitimate relegation scrap with about 5 or 6 teams that are still there or thereabouts. So there's a lot going on, man. And it is, like you said, Neil, it's fantastic, and it's good to see it instead of it being such a walkway where Liverpool or City are just going to walk it, and it's a bit boring. So we'll move on to the Man United and Leicester game, which obviously we moved to that one quite nicely considering we got a Man United and a Leicester fan here. So Saturday evening we had Man United at home to Leicester, a 1-1 game. For me as a neutral watching it, I feel Leicester were very unlucky in that game, and I feel they'd be hard done by. And to be fair, I think that Leicester should have walked away with all 3 points. But Neil, what's your thoughts? Do you agree with me? And what are you thinking about all of that?
Yeah, I think you're right. It's hard to look at it and go, right, 2 points not dropped. I mean, we weren't playing exceptional football. We were playing good one-touch football for a long period of time. We've not been back at our best this season. I know how good Leicester can be, and we've not been at that. Man United were awful, genuinely terrible, like for long periods of that game, and we weren't even that great. We were good for a lot of parts considering the season we've had so far, and I was hoping we could do the double because we've not actually won at Man United. I think we've only won twice since I can literally remember watching football at Man United's ground. Not a lot of time. It was a time to capitalize. Part of it was we didn't take our chances. It was just people making slightly wrong decisions at the slightly wrong time. Then there's whole VAR controversy, which we'll probably get into in a bit. And then there's probably one bit that wasn't mentioned on Match of the Day, which was the foul on McTominay as well on Maddison, which was an easy leg break, and that didn't get mentioned at all. So another way of VAR just kind of, that could be another conversation itself. But we played well for large parts of the game. But it wasn't enough to win. We're kind of annoyed, but at the end of the day, we've been on such a bad run of form. If you look me back about a month ago, we were genuinely looking at going, right, we're close towards that relegation zone. We wouldn't have been relegated, but we would have been dragged into that battle, which would have been awful.
Yeah.
We've managed to turn it around and just get up that table now, which is in a decent place. But yeah, overall, I'm just saying Man United were just terrible. And the players they had out and the players that we've had back into our squad, Timothy Castagne's second match, James Justin's first match, Wesley Fofana's first match whilst in Ramadan. You've got Johnny Evans just coming back from injury. They should have absolutely come at us and go, right, you've got a makeshift defense. Again, unless the defense has been terrible this season, absolutely terrible. But they couldn't commit. Bruno was just, what was a false nine. I don't understand what the tactics were. Everybody's on a vibes thing at Man United, from my opinion. Probably just all get into that, but it was, yeah, I see it as 2 points dropped, and I would not be saying that with the majority of seasons watching Manchester United go into their ground.
Yeah. So, Stel, what are you saying? I mean, we've got a comment here from Psycho, so shout out to Psy, always tuning in, always getting involved. So we appreciate you, bro. But he said United are awful. Forget top 4 talk. They may not even get top 6. So wow, quite damning. But still, what are you saying about that?
I can't disagree. I can't disagree with anything that your man said right here. You're Leicester fan. Sorry, mate, I forgot your name.
Neil. All good,
Neil,
mate.
Sorry. Saeed's, what's it called? Comment is there. So your name is in there. I can't see it. Sorry.
It's all good, man. Don't worry.
Yeah. But no, to be honest, this, you know, when they say it can only get worse, things can get better, right? I don't know how it can get much worse, in all fairness. This Man United team lacks character, it lacks desire, it lacks ability. And I'm just going to say it, most of these players shouldn't be playing for Man United Football Club. On the other hand, are we at risk of turning into one of these clubs where it's like, oh, we're Man United Football Club. They shouldn't be playing this way. They shouldn't be playing that bad. No team's got the divine right to be winning trophies.
Yeah.
No team's got the divine right to be winning games. Yeah. And this is the thing. This club, this hierarchy are living off a reputation. That's effectively what it is. You know, okay, Man United undoubtedly can still draw the big names. You quite proven this summer, you know. People can say, oh, well, Cristiano Ronaldo's the wrong side of 30, but United can still drawing these big names, Jadon Sancho. The money can be spent. But the thing is, what's happening at Man United now isn't just like an overnight thing. This has been happening for years. I mean, even before Fergie left, when Ronaldo left and brought in Obertan and we brought in Bebe and Michael Owen, this is a culmination of all those things that happened over the years. It's just that so much has happened since Ferguson retired, even before he retired, that it's irreparable for now anyway. And, you know, I'm not here to say, oh, please play the best tune you can on the violin. Man United deserve everything Man United get. And this isn't just the club, the players, because they've thrown it in. They've been throwing it in for God knows how long. Yeah, the only person that can really say I've made the effort is David De Gea, because he's been United's Player of the Year for God knows how many years. Look at the team from front to back yesterday. Who can you turn around and say, right, he really deserves some praise, a pat on the back? None of them, apart from De Gea.
Considering the talent that's in that team as well. Considering the talent, player for player. You're looking at Varane.
When you say talent, out of those 11 players that are on the pitch, how many of them get into Liverpool's team or Man City's team?
None of in terms of ability, potentially a few of them
on a good day, exactly, on form.
But who?
On ability,
but who?
On a good day, you could argue for Pogba. You could argue.
Okay, in whose team? In Liverpool's team.
Yeah, you could make a line.
You're talking about players that will get into
no chance.
Sancho could get in on the left. On form,
no chance.
Sorry, we're talking about players that could get from Man United's team, who could get into Liverpool's team on their day.
Chance. No, ahead of Mane, no chance.
None.
Yeah.
None.
To be fair, probably none. Right now, it's true, none.
That's not even on a buoyant thing. Before I would have said Pogba walks in there.
Exactly, I would have said that as well.
I would have said maybe De Gea on his best day, way at the start of the season when Alisson come off with a bad season, I would have given De Gea a shout on his best day, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think with United, there's just so much wrong with the club. You lot could sign anyone right now, and they're just not going to look how they would look playing with a smile.
Bruv, the tail is wagging the dog.
Yeah.
The players are calling the shots. They've been calling the shots since Ferguson retired. When Moyes came in, it was Welbeck and Rio. When it was Van Gaal, it was Schweinsteiger and Rooney and Carrick. When it was Mourinho, it was Pogba. When it was Solskjaer, it was Lingard and Rashford. And all. These players don't care about Manchester United Football Club. But to be honest,
owners don't care about Manchester United Club.
Sorry?
The owners don't care. They keep withdrawing the money every single year. It starts from the owners, and yes, they think they can patch it up with. We can give you, like, just look in the summer. We got Ronaldo, and it's like that solves our problems now. And a lot of your fans bought it up, in my opinion.
Well, exactly. That was what I was going to ask you. Who's to blame for that then? Because it pacified a lot of the fans. Do you remember when Arsenal signed Ozil and Alexis Sanchez and Aubameyang? A similar sort of thing. You're pacifying the supporters. Yeah, I've been supporting United most of my life, so I've seen the good times. I've seen the bad times. Yeah, and I remember the 80s. They were bad. We were losing 5-1 to Man City away from home. Players like Mark Hughes were scoring overhead kicks, but we were still losing 5-1 at Main Road. I remember those days. But I'll tell you what, those players put in a shift. These ones, they don't care. They don't give a shit. Okay? And this Ralph Rangnick coming in, I said it from day one, it's going to be a disaster, right? Because they can't take him serious. Are you going to be here for 6 months and leave? Or are you going to be a technical director? Because let's see what our current technical director does. He's on the fucking touchline, pardon my language. Darren Fletcher is on the subs bench. He should be in the stands as a technical director does, but he's taking training sessions before games. The same guy that said that Man United's academy is the best in England, but yet his son's at Man City's. Work that one out.
Wait, wait, did you say Fletcher's son is that?
Yeah.
Man City, I didn't.
How old is Fletcher's son? How old is he?
Pass. I mean, Fletcher's got to be late 30s now. His lad's got to be 10, 11, I'm guessing.
Wow.
I'm guessing.
He's in the good stages. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That
the same club that brought in a set piece coach that have only scored twice from, 58, 59 corners this season? 60, something like that? I don't even know how many corners United have had this season. You know, the whole club is a joke from top to bottom. But what I will say, and I will hold my hands up because I'm partly to blame for this, the supporters are just as bad.
The amount of half scarves I saw in that crowd was a joke.
Mate,
it was a joke. Like, I saw a couple, I was like, wankers. And then they just kept panning to more and more fans, and they all had heart. It was disgusting, man.
Mate,
I swear.
It's not just about the half and half scarves. That's not even scratching the surface.
From around,
you know, the problem is, look, I understand the power of social media. I get it. Okay, there's the banter, there's this and there's that. But when I see Bruno Fernandes signing a new contract and the replies, I'm thinking, look, okay, he did well at the beginning of his Man United career, but this is when there weren't any fans in the stadium. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
The statistics aren't that great now that there are fans in the stadium, are they? But he's missing open goals against Middlesbrough. Instead of stroking it in, he's slapping it. Right?
It's a weird one. What's happened to him though, Stel? What's actually happened to Bruno?
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo's there, and he's trying to live up to it. He's trying to live up to it. You know.
Like I think whenever I've always. I actually watched.
Shout out to Daps, by the way. Shout out to Daps and everyone else in the comments. Big up. Sorry, Mons, go ahead.
No, I said I watch every single one of United's games because personally I love their demise. I want to bottle every minute of it. But in all honesty, when I watch you guys play and I watch Fernandes and Ronaldo, like I don't really when at the start of the season I was hearing this Ronaldo Fernandes link up's going to be crazy. For me, they negate each other's abilities too much. I think when Ronaldo took a few weeks off, Fernandes started to play again. When Fernandes was in the team, Ronaldo scores a hat-trick. And I don't think that's a coincidence. Do you know what I mean? I personally don't think it's a coincidence. I think they negate each other a little bit too much. I think you might get the one game out of them where they both work well together. But for the majority of the season, it hasn't worked. And when something doesn't work, why do you keep trying it? Do you know what I mean? That's one thing I'm seeing. But I just feel like from top to bottom, especially when you guys mentioned the fans, like there were obviously you had the whole riot, you had the whole when Trafford got stormed and the Liverpool Man United game didn't go ahead with the whole Glazers thing. And I thought, you know what? Big you lot up. Like, you man are onto something. You guys are onto something. I was like, you know what? That needed to happen. But then,
nah.
Then Sugar Daddy pulled out his wallet and went and got Ronaldo and Sancho and Varane, and everyone just forgot about fuck the Blazers. Sorry about my language, but everyone just, not everyone, but a lot of man just forgot.
This is what I'm saying. They pacify the fans. When we protested about the Glazers back in 2005, I was there. When we did our protest back in 2005, that meant something. That meant we don't want you, right? And no disrespect to the fans that stormed the pitch against Liverpool. For me, it was a mixture of, yeah, we want the Glazers out, but we know that we can get some clout off Instagram and Twitter. Or, you know, we're going to make our point because things aren't going our way. Were these people protesting in 2008 when we won the Champions League? No, they weren't.
No.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't.
I had my season ticket. Let me tell you something. Yeah, let me finish. I had my season ticket in 2008. Yes, like I said before, I'm partly to blame for this, right? Because I was still going. But at the same time, the moment Ronaldo was sold and we brought in Obertan and Valencia and Owen, that's when I thought, do you know what? It's not worth it anymore because we're spending our money, right, as customers, because we're not fans to these people. We're customers. All of you are customers to your clubs. Let's face it. That's the way the game's gone, whether we like it or not, right? But they will do things because they're worried about share prices. They're worried about, the investors and what the sponsors are saying. Let's not make any bones about it. This time last year, Man United were bragging about a conference call that was made. They were talking about social media engagement. Not that the team was doing shit, but hey, listen, at least our social media engagement is great. And when Solskjaer decided to do that interview when he was crying on the television, fucking idiot, right? Why are you doing this? They're filming you, knowing full well that there's going to be all these people. They didn't turn off the comments on Twitter. They kept them because they knew social media engagement. So the priorities are all over the place. Let me tell you something. As much as I despise Man City, they're getting everything right. Yeah? They've got a decent academy. Sorry, they've got a world-class academy. They've got owners that back the manager. They are doing stuff for the community, right? And on top of that, their social media is off the scale. Twitter, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. So they've got the full package now. Do you remember when Rick Parry was saying that Liverpool weren't going to become a PLC in 1991? That's why Liverpool fell off back then, because they didn't do things properly. They looked at the Far Eastern market and they thought, nah, it's not for us. But United did that. That's why we got all of that success, or partly one of the reasons, right? It's like a role reversal now. United are below the curve. City have jumped ahead of us. So it is what it is. But one more thing, as I said about the fans, it's the social media ones have got just as much to blame than the players. Because when Marcus Rashford comes out with a fucking essay after a loss, I see all these comments. Marcus, you're so right. You're such a hero. Well, let me tell you something. Marcus, I'm guessing, conjecture, has got a little secret. That's all I'm saying.
Marcus is a dinner lady.
He's fell off a cliff this year, though, man. Honestly, he was my favorite.
I hate to see it.
So
I hate to see
it. Favorite United player, man. I used to love watching him play. Now he's a fucking bum.
Do you know what it is though? Apart from like Pogba, who's actually my guy. I'm sorry. I know you joined the wrong team, bro. But Pogba is my guy. But in all honesty, like it was actually heartbreaking to see him sign for United. I can't lie. But Rashford is like, you know, when you see a young youth come through and actually do his thing and actually maintain it, not end up at another club in 2 years. Do you know what I mean? You look at someone and go, you know what? There's some longevity there. Like a young black youth from wherever he's come from. Do you know what I mean? When you see that sort of stuff, do you know what I mean? So part of me, like, I don't want to see Rashford play the way he's playing. It doesn't make sense to me. Do you know what I mean? Something has to be wrong. There's some little secret. You know, as Chess said, there's got to be something there, man. You know what I mean? Obviously, I've got a few links in the Tottenham camp. So when something's going on, more time, I know what's going on. So I do hear there are things that we don't get to hear or we don't get to see. So, yeah, maybe it's something like that. I don't know. All
right, before we wrap up, so Stel, where do United go from here? What's your thoughts for like how the season pans out? What happens next? Like, what are you saying?
Mate, do you know what? I'm going to say this, and a lot of United fans are going to get on my back and say, oh, you're not a true Man United fan. But please, no European football. No Champions
Wow.
League, no Europa League, no Conference League. Okay, not because it gives us time to regroup, like to do what Arsenal are doing, because Arsenal have done things a proper way. Yeah, whether you like it or not, they know that they're not in Europe, so they're going to focus solely on the league. They're going to invest correctly. But the difference is Arsenal have got people that know football. Edu is a football man, right? Edu's got his links. We've seen it. He's got his links from Spain. He's got his links from Brazil. I mean, if he's mates with Marcus Motto, who's probably one of the most successful agents who doesn't really, get in people's faces like certain other ones, he's going to know a lot of players. He's going to get a lot of players. But with United, we can say this all the time till the cows come home. There needs to be a restructure, right? Richard Arnold has come in to replace Ed Woodward, right? Richard Arnold has been working at the club for years. In fact, Richard Arnold, get this one. Richard Arnold used to work for Saudi Telecom. Yeah? He came to Man United after working in Saudi Arabia. Man United have been taking Saudi money from sponsorship since 2008. So when Newcastle were taken over by Saudis, why were Man United complaining? Why was Richard Arnold complaining? Double standards, isn't it? But anyway,
the agenda and people don't know. Simple
but this
as
is it. But this is it. It happens. Look, I could go on a rant about morals in football and how they're lacking, but it doesn't help when you've got people in the media that are former Man United players flip-flopping. Yeah? You've got Gary Neville. Let me tell you about Gary Neville. Let me tell you about Gary Neville, right? Have you noticed how he hasn't really mentioned anything about Man United moving grounds? He's been talking about redeveloping Old Trafford, but hasn't mentioned moving grounds. Do you know why? Because he runs hotel football, doesn't he? And it's right round the corner from Old Trafford. Gary Neville's been trying to buy all these flats above the Chippies on Matt Busby Way. But you don't know that because obviously that's not going to come out. So it's not in Gary Neville's best interest for Man United to go elsewhere. Is it? Right. So there's the agenda. Shall we talk about Rio?
Yeah.
Shall we talk about Rio?
Go ahead.
Let's
Talk about Rio.
Shall we talk about this is the guy who loves Man United so much, but when he when he forgot to take his drugs test, he wasn't chatting up Peter Kenyon, who was the Chelsea chairman at the time. Should we talk about that? Or shall we talk about when David Moyes was Man United manager, Rio was trying to engineer a move to MLS? But that doesn't come out, does it? But I'm not going to talk about Rio's private life. I'm not going to talk about his private life because I could go into that all day, right? But, this is the same Rio Ferdinand that was so, against anti-racism. He was so anti-racism. He hates John Terry. He hates John Terry for what he said to Anton Ferdinand. Yet Rio and Anton were happy to be the middlemen when Mick McCarthy got his job at a club in Cyprus who are known for not condemning their fans that take Nazi flags to stadiums. So you talk to me about double standards. Is it money that's more important? Or is it morals?
There are no morals in football, man. It just, like you said, it just whether it suits your agenda or not. Exactly. Exactly that. Exactly.
Morals, corporate morals they don't go around it.
Of course it doesn't. Look, FSG, the Glazers, Kroenke, they all funded Donald Trump's campaign. They all funded Donald Trump's campaign when he went for presidency the first time round.
You don't want to know about our sponsor and what you don't want to know.
Well, just the Super League in itself as well.
Exactly.
The Super League, but it's like I said, I said this on my own podcast. Like, you talk about morals, Again, I'm gonna have digs here, right? Liverpool, right? They talk about morals and how Saudi shouldn't have taken over Newcastle. Well, Liverpool were telling their players to wear Luis Suarez t-shirts when he racially abused Patrice Evra.
Yeah.
What about morals there?
What about Man City?
Right? Okay, we forget the sports washing, right? Shall we talk about Barry Bennell and how he was fiddling kids when he was Man City coach? Ask Paul Stewart about it. They're sweeping these things on the club. There's no morals. Arsenal. Shall we talk about Arsenal and their morals or their lack of morals and how, all of a sudden they wanted to distance themselves from AFTV. But when AFTV were at their height, they didn't send any cease and desist letters. It was only when they said to him, please change your name from Arsenal Fan TV to AFTV. No morals. When there's free media.
Rwanda. It was the Ozil situation.
Let's just keep going.
Rwanda,
No morals in football. It doesn't exist. Does not exist.
Yeah.
And that's something you're coming on to as well in terms of Arsenal. It's all fine and dandy now, but you remember the Super League, you were protesting getting the owners out, and then it's all so it's the same situation there. similar situation. Now it's all fine and dandy because you guys are getting top 4, maybe top 3. And then it's all changed now because you're winning games. So, and this is just one season, bearing in mind. So it's all, when people are winning, everything's going well. There's always going to be corruption when it comes to billionaires and stuff, but you still have to hold these owners accountable, even when you're winning, because you're like, right, this is great, but I still want you out. And that energy has to be kept constant.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's very difficult, and that's what I said to Stell. No one, okay, I'll be real. If Tottenham win, I don't know, some trophies or the league, or Leicester start winning, the same guys that are not happy with the ownership, they're going to be a bit muted because the team's doing well. It's really hard to still protest when your team's being successful. Do you get what I mean? I'm just being honest. If Tottenham start winning, am I really going to have the same venom for Enoch, the same guys that I'm not happy with right now, because the team's winning and we're doing what we all want? We all want trophies.
You still want them to leave. You can still go, I'm glad we're winning, but you guys still need to go. You just won't be as animated.
Yeah, because the second you go for a bad run of games, you know who the first name you're calling out.
100%.
You're going to. I'll be honest, second. Go on.
But the protest will never be as strong and as committed and as passionate when the team's doing well. Because everyone's going to say, oh, what are we protesting for? We're doing well. You're never going to get that same traction. That's the point. That's what I'm trying to say.
Silver lining. There's actually it's a very silver line. It's a silver lining sort of thing. But hey, man, I'm here for the downfall, Man United. Hey, I'm I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I mean, most of my life I've seen you guys on top, so this needs to last as long as possible. I'm gonna be real. You know what I'm saying? Y'all terrorize me.
Probably you lot thought 30 years without winning the title is a long time. It's going to be probably 40 years for United.
Oh no, I would say 20. Wait, how long's it been? 9 years?
2013,
9 years.
13, wasn't it?
13, you won it. Yeah, 9 years so far. So
9 years.
We're further away.
But they're nowhere near. They're nowhere near. Even when they came second under Ole and
Trophyless in 5 years? Going to be this year?
It was Mourinho.
It'll be 6.
It'll be 6.
Number 5. 2018 or 7? Can't remember.
To be fair, listen, when Guardiola and Klopp part ways, y'all might have a shot. I don't know. Some one of you guys might rise to fame.
It depends who they bring in and what's going on. If Man United bring in well, it depends who they get, and it depends who comes in with you guys and City. But
the thing is, Pat, you're going to have a lot of Man United fans. And you know what? I'm not sticking up for the Glazers. Don't get me wrong, but you got a lot of Man United fans that say they've taken X amount of money out of the club. They've done this. Okay, they have done. But they still have sanctioned big money deals. It's not as if they've been like Mike Ashley and said like 2 million here, 5 million here. We're talking about big money here. 80 million for Maguire, 50 million on Wan-Bissaka. Yeah? How much on Lindelof? 20, 30 million pound? How much on Varane?
Yeah.
Fred.
How much on Tellers? How much on Shaw? How much on Fred? So you can't say that they haven't. Okay, people are going to say, "Oh, it's not the club's money." Okay, it's not the club. It's not the Glazers' money. It's the club's money. Sorry, it's the club's money, not the Glazers' money. But there still needs to be someone to sign it off to say, "Yeah, I'm all right with that. Yeah, I'm all right with that."
Yeah.
Or you really think David Gill wasn't the kind of person to sign things off and said no to certain things? Or Fergie or Martin Edwards, same sort of thing. Martin Edwards is probably the most frugal out of the lot of them, but he took gambles. But the Glazers, because they haven't had football men in the game at the club, making all of these stupid signings, man. And let's get it right again. I'm just gonna say this, and we've been talking about United for way too long here, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this: when Woodward got the job originally, right, he knew nothing about the game. So what did he do? He jumped into bed with Jorge Mendes. Right, and Mendes helped bring in Falcao, Di Maria, Rojo, all these stellar names. Right, then they fell out. And then he would jump into bed with what's his name, Raiola, and then he brought in Pogba, he brought in Mkhitaryan, he brought in Bailly, he brought in. The guy didn't know anything. He didn't know people in the game. Didn't know agents. Didn't know anyone. He just jumped into bed with the nearest guys that had the biggest names, and that was it. Bring them in. There's no structure. So if Rangnick is going to be the next sporting director, wherever he's going to be, he sees straight away where the problems are. I'm seeing Ten Hag, Pochettino. No one can get a tune out of these shitheads. Manchester United need to get rid of a whole heap of players because It's like I said on the D&D
shit.
Footy Factory podcast the other day, right?
I love this.
Perhaps the challenge shouldn't be to win
He's
trophies.
in love,
The challenge should be to get into the top 4. That's the challenge now. So you need players that want to have that challenge. Players like Pogba and Bruno and whoever, they want to win things. Man United's not the club to win things, ladies and gentlemen.
Not at the moment. Not at the moment.
I know,
No.
and that's why when I see
definitely a club to win things, just not at the moment.
that's why when I
On
see these
paper-
links about Harry Kane being linked to Man United, it doesn't make no sense because I'm like, with all due respect, Man United are not that team anymore. If Harry Kane's to move to win things, there's only 3 teams, in my opinion, that he should be moving to. That's Liverpool, Chelsea, or Man City. Those are only 3 teams where he's guaranteed to possibly win a trophy.
With Chelsea now, that's 50-50 with the whole
I
situation
know,
as well. So it's only
exactly.
really
So,
2.
yeah, so it's only 2. I mean, typically Chelsea every year are good for a trophy, but we don't know what the new management's going to be. We don't know if they're going to spend, what the implications are. So you're right, Neil. It's actually only 2 teams. So Kane being linked to United makes no sense whatsoever. They don't even know who their manager's going to be yet. They don't know what system they're going to play, what players they need to bring in, what players they need to get rid of. It makes no sense. It's just paper talk, but it's funny because of course Man United are a huge team. They're massive in terms of their history, their stature. We know how big they are, but right now they're not a team that anyone who wants to win trophies should be going to. So yeah, but Neil, we're just before we wrap up the whole United and Leicester thing, what do you want to see for your team for the rest of the season, and then next year, what do you want to see Leicester doing and to improve, and just really what your thoughts are?
Yeah, Leicester have been a weird one this season. We're a decent enough team. This year we've been. The thing is, Leicester fans are a weird one. Our board has higher ambitions than our fans. It's so strange because we've been League One, we've been Championship for a long period of time, and trust me, I've been there and supporting the team. But there's things that Brendan Rodgers out. Because again, we shouldn't be getting knocked out. We shouldn't be getting in the Conference League. We shouldn't have been beaten 4-1 by Man United. We shouldn't be losing 2-1 and then losing to you, man, 3-2. It was stupid. It was Brendan Rodgers' decision, but also there was loads of problems. There was a few, and injuries were a problem, but but when you watch them game in, game out, you go, yeah, it's not just injuries. It is easy punditry to say it's injuries. But now that the club are kind of, the owners are still quite new to football. They're still learning things as they go. And what they're doing is that we're getting in the right position. We aren't great where we are. I'm not happy where we are, but it's going to be okay because hopefully we can do something in the Conference League. That should be. Now we're in the quarters. I mean, we've got to go and win it. There's no real other excuse. We have to go and win it at this position. In terms of the Premier League, I think this is one to just write off. Hopefully we can finish 9th or like in that top half of the table to make us okay. Then we'll have a little bit of a rebuild in the summer. There's certain players that need this. We're just going through a cycle of certain players need removing and they're going to get out of the squad and we'll be back up in next season. So you're seeing where the bracket is at the moment. I think we can get anywhere between 6th and, well, even we could anywhere between 4th and 8th next season. We genuinely could finish because we are a decent enough team. We just had a terrible season, can't defend set pieces, and
you've had terrible injuries though, bro. Like your injuries are borderline. I think they were as bad as Chelsea at the start of the season and ours last season.
Yeah.
Like, I think if honestly, as a rival, I wouldn't say rival fan, but as an outsider, I look at your team and I go, well, if Fofana's fit and James Justin's fit and they don't get the 2 ACL, the really bad injuries that they have, Maddison stays fit because his fitness is always iffy. If those 2 stay fit, and
Didi's been a big loss, man. And Didi's been a very big loss, and for Nigeria as well.
Yes, I'm saying Fofana, Justin, and Vardy. That's us, and Maddison in and out. That's the spine of your team, bro.
Again, with that as well, we are developed. We used to be just like, for example, the team that won the league in 2016, there was just 1-11 team, and there really wasn't any of the bench players. We're getting this rotation. However, I get there's a few players that change out, but we've still got a good enough squad. We were lucky to get points off. We're talking about drawing to Burnley. We're talking about we're lucky to get a win against certain players, certain teams in the game. The perfect example was like, it's not about injuries is kind of the cop out because I held my club to a higher standard. We have had injuries, and yes, that's been the case. However, the performances has not been there. You want to give your own. The amount of goals we've conceded has been absolutely stupid. I mean, we went from basically challenging for top 4 to nearly being put in a relegation zone in one season. And we have kind of equalized in this middle position, which is okay. But from somebody that's watched, I've got notes. When it's one of the things where you see it on Match of the Day and you watch it and you go, okay, Leicester are a bit unlucky. And you're seeing, when you're watching them match in, match out, you can see, look, we are playing terribly. Defensively, that everybody's over the shop. And it shouldn't just be 2 or 3 players out. That we've got good enough team to put up a decent. We talk about defending corners. We talk about defending free kicks. We talk about doing the basics properly. And we weren't even doing that. And we're talking about for 4 months, we couldn't even do the basics right. We were chatting on certain players to get in the right position. So now they're starting to come back. Yeah, you are seeing an upturn in form, but the players that we had on the bench were good enough to at least get a draw at a time. We were winless until I think just coming up to March. We didn't win a single game in 2022 because we were just losing and losing and losing and losing. And there is a little bit about injuries, but a lot of it was down to the tactics as well. We have a good enough squad to kind of compete with two players. But yeah, long story short, essentially it's an easy narrative to say it was just the injuries. The manager got his tactics horribly wrong at times as well.
Not just the injuries, obviously, not just the injuries, but I do think that was a massive factor.
It was.
And I think
it wasn't as big as I think the media made out it was. It was Leicester, we finally got injuries. It's like, yeah, but there's certain things that were happening, especially defensively, that were just comical. I mean, you saw the way we played against you guys. When we were playing against you for the 3-1, we ended up losing the game in the EFL Cup. We just fell apart. We completely fell apart. And the first half, we were okay defensively. Yes, we lost Ricardo, but then you saw the mentality just dropped, and you just came at us the entire time.
Team was very
that
weak.
Shouldn't be happening.
Very weak team on the I don't know. There's just like again, Dewsbury Hall, the one positive from the season. I think he's the one positive. Dewsbury Hall is a very mature good age. I really like Lookman. I just feel like for some reason wherever he goes, he doesn't get a massive run of games. It will start well, and then it kind of just withers away. As I said, maybe if there's someone in the background going on, I don't know. But I think Lookman's a player. There's times that he just looks unplayable. End product, but
I think his performance for Nigeria against Ghana pretty much summed him up. You know, first 10, 15 minutes of that game, he was electric, and he just petered out. And that just seems to be his career at the moment. You know, back to talent.
Is that game? I think sometimes you need to get the right move, and I think we saw maybe with like Damari Gray. I think Everton was the right move for him at the time when he come in. So, but then obviously, even though I think Everton's form has affected his form heavily, but when Everton were actually okay, Damari Gray looked like a steal for someone whose career was looking like it was going like this. So I think the same thing could be for Lookman. I think he just needs to find the right move. I don't think Rodgers fancies him. I rate Barnes, innit? I do rate Barnes, and Barnes I think is a better winger than him.
It's consistent.
You know what?
You have to be consistent to be at the top level.
Harvey Barnes annoys me because I think he's got so much talent, but I just question his decision making. His one-on-one decision making. No, but he's just a bit greedy and wasteful. Like yesterday, he had 2 good opportunities and he just snatched at them. And then he runs back like laughing. I'm like, it's not funny. Like you could actually do, if he was just a bit more clinical with his decision making, he could be he is a good player. Don't get me wrong. I like him. He's a good player. But I mean, he could be top level. Yeah, his ceiling is high. But Neil, you must be frustrated because even me as a fan, when I watch him, he frustrates me because he's so good and he gets into brilliant positions, but he just snatches at shots or he'll make the wrong decision. I'm like, he's frustrating, man. So it's a
weird one with these lot, innit? It's a weird one with Leicester. I don't know. Maybe Rodgers' time he's on the time. I don't know. There's just a lot of things. I think again, right off the season and go again with everyone. Just make sure Justin in
Conference League,
Ghana get a brilliant get a good pre-season going in it. As long as them man get a pre-season under their belt, I think you lot go back to being in the position that Wolves are in and maybe challenging for that top 6 again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Leicester should be a team knocking on the door of top 4, top 6. Definitely. They've got the 100%. Team, they've got the talent, they've won stuff, they've got a unit there. They should be challenging. But Neil, you made a really good point and you didn't really elaborate on it. Did you say that you're Brendan Rodgers out? I think I heard that, but you moved on to the next point.
So I was, and here's the thing, because again, a part of it when it comes to injuries, Brendan Rodgers, I don't know if it was the same thing with Liverpool, and Bonds could tell me, the way that he trains them too hard. And for example, James Justin's come back from an ACL injury. It takes time to get back. Brendan Rodgers plays him 3 games in a row. Ping, it's gone. He's out for another month. You go in. There's loads of. We've had some freak injuries. Don't get me wrong, but his man management in terms of playing the game was just. There was no need to play him in the third game. He did it against West Ham. Then he had to be pulled off. Luke Thomas had to go on. Why didn't you just play Luke Thomas and then give him 30 minutes? You have to ease these players back in when they have these long-term injuries. And for example, we had a similar situation to Liverpool. We had this massive injury crisis, but the thing is, ours has kept going. We've not had a fully fit squad 100% for 2.5 years. We've always had players that's injured, and the manager hasn't learned his lessons. What we've done now is the club have gone, okay, when things are going well, you do what you want, as we were kind of saying earlier, because it's like everything's fine and dandy. But now things are going wrong. The board behind the scenes goes, right, okay, we're making decisions that we're going to make. Like Ryan Bertrand was absolutely appalling buy. Vestergaard was appalling buy. Both of them were Brendan Rodgers. The owners have now gone, look, no, we're going to have the say who we put in now. You're not going to have a say in who you're going to get in the squad. We're going to put in players that we want. The club doctor has now come in, a new one, because it's not Brendan Rodgers' way. So we're limiting his role in what he wants to get, because he's like, oh, I know what it takes to get to the next level. He's a bit egotistical, I'm not going to lie. He's changed. So I like Brendan Rodgers now, where he's only got a limited amount, where he's trying to reach in all these different places and go, okay, I want transfers here, I want this one, this one, this. You know, kind of how Klopp's got, right, I have some control, but I'm going to let the owners do what they do best. If that relationship happens with Leicester, I'm happy for Brendan Rodgers to stay. But the reason why I was Rodgers out is because, again, we can't forget how bad we were. We shouldn't be losing 4-1 to a team in the Championship and our local rivals after we're defending the FA Cup.
It's Arsenal to me.
Yeah. I know, but 4-0, 4-1, it was appalling. And the performance, everybody just down tools. The manager was... And again, another thing with Brendan Rodgers, again, something that I mentioned at the time, he came out and said, these players, some players need to leave in the summer. They are not playing for the club, blah, 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 and threw them all.
I remember that. Yeah.
And then he's putting back in for the West Ham game. So you're going, what was the... I don't understand the point. If you're going to throw them all under the bus and go, you're not good enough to play for this squad, and they go, you're right, you're coming back in next week. It made no sense whatsoever.
Neil, last question, because you're talking about a rebuild, and we all admit that your team is really good, but you do need to rebuild to then challenge again. Is Rodgers the manager you would keep for your rebuild, or do you want someone else in?
I'm 50-50. I'll go with the thing is, my club, unlike again with Tottenham and with Manchester United, I think we're in a better position because our board know what they're doing. Our transfers know what they're doing. We're in a really good position. The manager is kind of the bottleneck at the moment, and potentially funds, because the owners that own ours are duty-free, and duty-free was massively impacted because of COVID. So that's one thing that we've not got on our side as well. But I trust you guys are in worse position than us. We're in a decent position, even though we're lower in the table. So I think we'll be okay. I trust the board, whatever they want to do. If they want to back him, I'll back him. But if they want to get rid of him, because they've been ruthless in the past, they got rid of Ranieri, they've got rid of Puel when things weren't working. So if that's the decision, from what we've heard as well, the board of directors has fallen out with Rodgers as well. So we'll see in the summer what happens. So whatever they decide to do, I'll be happy with, and that I'm in a privileged position to say that, because I know how much other owners are stinking out their clubs as well.
No, fair enough. Good answer, man. Just thought I'd ask you that, because obviously we can all see where Leicester just need to tweak things a bit. But like you said, you guys are really well ran. You're in a good moment in terms of, this season's not been great, but we all know what you guys have done in the last 3 or 4 years. It's been fantastic. Your story's amazing, what you've done. You've continued to win things. Obviously, you bought through players, the emergence of people that we'd never heard of, such as Jamie Vardy, Mahrez, Kante. Like, the Leicester story is unmatched.
Even Fofana was a good example.
Yeah, Fofana, exactly. Yeah, he's somebody I'd never heard of. And these guys are now, like, established. Well, some of them, obviously, like Kante's and Mahrez, are world-class players. Vardy was, for a moment, you would say he was world-class. Now I know he's on the decline. But, you guys he's
still there. He's just injury-prone. I mean, he was still one of the top scorers in the Premier League, but his injuries have got in the way, and that's going to be his main stopping point.
Leicester the Red Bull.
Nah, you can't do that to Jamie Vardy, man. That's you inject that shit into his veins.
All right, but now great stuff, Neil. But let's move on to my team now. We had a fantastic result today. Obviously, Tottenham 5, Newcastle 1. And I feel so vindicated and happy to be here and smile and say this, because so many people told me that we were going to fall off. we're Spursy, we're going to win one, lose one. And I was like, no, we've actually been in good form. If you deep it, I know we lost to United away, but I feel we were the better team in that game. We were unlucky to not get something out of that. And then since then, I mean, in between that, we've won 5 out of the last 6, scored 21 goals. Obviously, been in scintillating form, hence why we are now 4th. I know Arsenal have 2 games on us, but the fact that we're now pushing on knocking on that door again obviously shows that we have turned things around. Our goal difference is better than theirs now, which obviously is testament to the goals we've been scoring. So instead of me talking first, I'll jump to Mons, who's not really spoke for a bit. What did you watch today's game, and what are your thoughts on how things panned out?
I watched the game. First half, cagey, really, innit? Especially it was a bit cagey. I think Newcastle had lots of the ball. I think I don't know. People were saying that was Tottenham playing bad. I think that was the game plan. Let them have the ball for a bit, even though you was at home. Let them have the ball for a bit, see what they could do, and then catch them on the counter. And I think that's where you've been at your most dangerous over the last 3 to 4 weeks. When Kane drops deep and Son and Kula, I call Kulusevski in it, but yeah, when Kulusevski, I'm saying when Kulusevski and Son get going, Kane drops deep and then obviously makes the deep run. And you maybe get one of the wing backs involved. I think that's where you've been at your most dangerous. I think that's the con table that hurt City. Do you know what I mean? That's the con table that's probably going to hurt Arsenal in not too far from now. So I think the first half was kind of a feeling out phase. What I would say is I feel like you can't do that in every game because you will get punished. But I think when you guys were still in gear one and gear 2 for me in that first half, it got a little bit fiery. I think Conte definitely dashed the boot across the changing room, and then that's why you come out and I blinked and Doherty had scored. He's in my fantasy league, so big you up, Matthew, over there. If you can hear me, big you up, doggy. You know what I'm saying? So I think Son for me has been under par this season. So to see him still getting, having an effect on the game was good. I was really, really impressed with Kulusevski. I was more impressed with Matt Doherty as well. I feel like he's been unfairly criticized, I think, this season. I feel like you can't really criticize a man that doesn't play, but then again, he hasn't done enough to play. So it's a kind of it's a bit of both. It's a bit of both, really. Do you know what I mean? I've never been a fan of Emerson Royale. I think he stinks. I think he's crap. But he got his goal today. He played all right. Do you know what I mean? He got his goal. He played all right today.
That's how terrible Newcastle were. Emerson Royale looked good.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
You like doing it.
I don't get it, man. I don't get Emerson Royale hype. I'm not on it.
But they won 5-1, so I'm not going to go into how bad Emerson Royale is. I think that's unfair. Do you know what I mean? I think you lot right now, even though it's fine, you played more games, you're in the top 4. Arsenal's game in hand is Chelsea away, and even though that bridge came tumbling down to Brentford, like that's anyone going to the bridge it's a tough fixture for anyone.
Listen. When Arsenal go to Stamford Bridge, Chelsea will be switched on. I know footballers shouldn't, yeah, that's it. And they took that game yesterday for granted, and they got punished. And it happens. Sometimes you take a day off, you disrespect the opposition, you think you're going to win, you already think you've won before the game kicks off, and Brentford put them to the sword. But when Arsenal played Chelsea, because Arsenal fans were saying, if we win on Monday, we're only 2 points behind them, we're going for third. And that's all well and good saying that, but they know when they go to Stamford Bridge, it's not going to be the same story. So it will be interesting to see. But yeah, I mean, Chess, Stel, did you watch the game today? Spurs Newcastle.
Well, yeah, I did. Not in great detail.
Yeah.
But, to be honest, second half was an annihilation, wasn't it? In all fairness, Newcastle did well first half, to be fair, but they conceded a very cheap goal, didn't clear their lines, let the ball come back into the box. And, Davis's header, all right, it was a great header, but poor marking. But then when you look at Tottenham's second goal, was it the second or the third when Harry Kane broke over the halfway line? I think there were about 2 Newcastle central defenders were in Spurs' half when the ball was played through. Why are you playing such a high line? I can't understand it. And every single goal that Newcastle conceded from after Davis's equaliser was just ball watching. It was just ball watching, and both fullbacks have scored the goals. And they've got in behind their fullbacks, they're great runs to be made. But when the ball's played in the box from out wide, Cher's good in the air. Dan Burn is like 6'20", you know. Why are you not dealing with these crosses? And these are basic errors. And that's been Newcastle's problem, not just under Eddie Howe, but obviously under Steve Bruce. Defensively, they're shambolic. But as I said, Spurs stepped up a gear second half. They got the goals, and it's helping the goal difference, and it's helping the confidence because Newcastle been in a rich vein of form as well. So, you know, Tottenham's next 2 games are Villa and Brighton, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Villa away next weekend, and then I'll check. But yeah, something like that. So
I think you got Villa, Brighton, and then Brentford.
So they're all winnable games. I mean, in the Prem, no game is easy until you play it. Because, I mean, before Newcastle came to town, everyone would have said Newcastle are a bogey team. They usually get a result at White Hart Lane. So, and Newcastle were in decent
they've
form.
done it once, man. That's a myth. They've done it once.
Nah. They beat us recently. They took points off us last season, I think, when Dyer, the ball hit his hand and they gave a penalty in like the last minute or something crazy like that. But
myth, bro. I think man, I'm just playing up to that. Do you know they're playing up to that, man? There ain't no Newcastle ain't no bogey team for you, though, man. Not in my opinion, anyways. You know what I mean? That's Twitter. That's Twitter chat. Twitter fingers. That's what that is. You know what I mean? You know, it's crap. You know how it gets.
Yeah. No, I guess I was confident going to today's game. A lot of Spurs fans were a bit edgy, but I was like, no, we should beat these guys and beat them comfortably. And in the end, we did. And you know, it's decent. Business end of the season. You take a win no matter how it comes, but when you play a team off the park and you get a lot of goals, especially from different guys as well. When Emerson, Doherty, Ben Davis, they're chipping in, that's great for the confidence and the team play. So, yeah, credit to the guys. Harry Kane and Son doing the business. Kulusevski's come in and he looks fantastic. He's only 21. He's slotted right in, and he's a player that's like he's quite weird because when you look at him or watch him, first of all, you don't really think he's got any outstanding attributes. He's not amazingly fast. He's not exactly, great easy on the eye with his dribbling or whatever. But the guy is just a good player, man. The ball sticks to him.
His vision,
his touch. Yeah, his touch
decision
is fantastic.
making. Then you doing the basics well is very underrated these days.
Yeah,
being able
like
to
you said, his decision making.
well.
Yeah, his decision making is really good. When he gets into the final third, he usually pulls something off. He's a good player, man. Very good player.
You look at his assists to Son. Yeah, I think a lot of people will go, "Oh yeah, easy ball, should be making that pass," and he should be making that pass because he's come from Juventus, he's a young player, yada yada. You know what I'm saying? But I've seen enough man mess that up. You know what I mean? So
I've seen honest, Man United have messed up so much recently.
Yeah, I've seen enough man overthink the pass or overhit, underhit. Just do the basics, get the right weight on the pass, and care about who you're passing to, man. You know what I mean?
Pat, aren't you concerned with the lack of clean sheets you guys are keeping? Because I think you've kept like 3 clean sheets over the last 11 games.
Oh, that's a good question. Today, Hugo should have done better for that free kick. I know he saw it late, but you got to get a stronger wrist on that and clear it. Because to be fair, Newcastle didn't really trouble us. So the fact that they scored
one shot on target, mate.
Like you say, that is criminal stuff. So I do agree. I'm trying to think. We kept a clean sheet versus Everton. We kept a clean sheet versus
Brighton.
Leeds. Yeah, Brighton. So yeah, teams that you should. But you're right. That is something we need to address. Yeah, good question. I don't know. I think, going back to that then, us defending a set pieces is atrocious. So again, that was a set piece they scored from. Corners were very shaky. This is something that needs to be addressed. I don't know what's going on in the changing room, but that is something that needs to be looked at because every time they get a corner, I feel shaky and nervous, knowing that they're going to obviously get a header or shot on target. Newcastle weren't great today on set pieces, but most teams know that's our weakness. So that needs to improve. Yeah,
we have the same issue at the moment, and one of the reasons why is because I think I don't know if it's the same thing with you, Pat, but 2 issues. One, Schmeichel doesn't come for corners; he just stays on his line. He's like, right, I'm anchored to my line, and whatever comes, I'll try and save it. Yeah. Second of all, our central defenders don't go, I'm heading this, get it out of the box. That's been our 2 concerns, and that's why we've been conceding so many from set pieces. I don't know if it's similar with your side.
I think Hugo Lloris has never been the best commander of his area or his box. Like when you look at Alisson, for example, he's really good at commanding his box.
Even Ramsdale, man.
Yeah, Ramsdale's good at that. David De Gea's on and off. Sometimes he looks good, sometimes he doesn't. But Hugo's that's never been one of his strongest points. But we do have good aerial defenders of the ball. Like Dyer is good in moving, and Romero is very good at that. So I don't know. I just think we switch off a lot on set pieces, on corners. Like against West Ham 2 weeks ago, they got a corner in. It came across. What is it? Ben Rama was on the back stick, banged it in. It's a goal, and it just come out of nowhere. So it's just making sure you're alive to the second ball, like Stel said. Even when we scored against Newcastle, where Son literally, recycled the ball in. Newcastle, that's atrocious defending, and that's usually what happens to us. Is you're awake for the first ball, but you sleep on the second ball. So yeah, that needs to be worked on. But to be fair, our defense has been a lot better. Hence why we are, our attack obviously is the reason, but the defense has been better in recent weeks. So I'm not too worried about that. I think, we're in heading in the right direction. As long as we don't mess up the games we should win, then we're right bang in the mix. So I'm happy, to be fair as well. And I think Conte has come in and has improved the team. Players look a lot better. You're looking at your guys like Doherty, Ben Davis, Dyer. These guys were all literally at death's door under Nuno and the last manager.
Dyer.
So
I think Dyer's been Dyer. I think maybe I just have a soft spot for Dyer in it. I think Dyer has good attributes from going over. I think Dyer has good attributes, and especially under Conte has looked.
No, Dyer's been great under Conte. And
your best defender, if not the same as Romero.
No, he's not on Romero's level, but Dyer has been good. I like Dyer, and I've always thought he was a good player, but he was stinking at the place before. He was stinking at the place under Jose and also under Nuno, but right now he looks so much better. And obviously you're seeing how good or much better Ben Davis is. Doherty is a player reborn. He's actually chipping in with goals and assists now, which is something you would have never thought or imagined in your wildest dreams before. So he has definitely improved certain players. Obviously Kane and Son have always been ballers. So happy with the result. Obviously, as long as we can continue scoring and I don't care, like you're saying, Mons. I don't care if we win ugly. I don't care if it's an own goal, a deflection, scrappy. At this stage of the season, you just need to get the job done. Yeah, penalties, whatever. But obviously, when you can score 3, 4, 5 and win convincingly, it's always good. So, yeah, man, I'm really happy.
How many times have you done that this season? Like won convincingly? Would you say?
Obviously, the Brighton game, definitely. It's all the recent games, to be fair, Neil. All the recent games, because Brighton, Everton, obviously today, and then I can't remember who, West Ham Leeds as well. We definitely beat them convincing. Leeds. So I'd say the last 5 or 6 games is where we look convincing. Before that, they were scrappy. Like when we beat you guys, that was just luck, wasn't it? If we're being real, it was just the ball was at the right place at the right time, and we just, it's a great win, but it's a lucky win. And there's been other, awful defense. And then you guys kick off at the halfway line, and before we know it, Bergwijn's in again. Like how'd that happen? So been a lot of luck, but yeah, recently we've been beating teams convincingly. So that's definitely credit to Conte and the guys actually playing with a system. Because when you look at Man United, sorry to bring you into this style, but Man United, they don't look like they know what they're doing. There's no system, there's no identity. Right now, you can see that Tottenham, no plan. Tottenham actually know what they're doing. When they're moving the ball around, you can see what they're trying to do. It might not work, but you can see what they're doing. So yeah, but before we wrap up, we'll just talk about Chelsea. The Chelsea-Brentford game, that was a massive shock. I never saw that coming.
I'm back. Sorry, I heard you say Chelsea.
Yeah.
He was going to go to bed, and he's like, "No, I'm back. I'm awake."
I'm awake. We're pretty much almost at the end of the show, but we'll just talk about that one. Annoyingly, we didn't get an Arsenal fan on today. There was meant to be one scheduled, but he had difficulties jumping on because a lot of Arsenal fans were licking and salivating at the lips when they saw Chelsea drop points. Because if they win tomorrow, they're only 2 points behind Chelsea, which we would have thought was crazy and unthinkable a couple of weeks ago, months ago.
It's not, man. They got the same amount of wins. It's actually not. They have the same amount of wins.
That's mental when you think about it. So, yeah, Mons, what are you saying about Chelsea? Do you think they're going to not struggle, but do you think they got a fight on their hands now for top 4, or are we being a bit too overzealous after one loss?
No, because, amidst the craziness that's going on at Chelsea Football Club, what I will say, the one credit I'll give them is that to be where they are, still in the Champions League, looking like it's going to be a comfortable top 4 finish, still a reasonably good defensive record. I think that's good. When your team's going through a crisis and you can churn out this sort of position at the business end of the season, you can only give credit to Tuchel in that sense. Do you know what I mean? But there are things that people seem to forget and people just turn a blind eye to, is that he can't coach a back four. Yeah, they used the back four when they beat you guys, but you guys were like bordering on sinking when they beat you. When they beat you guys, Patrick, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
And you know, they've gone into autopilot because maybe they've got a little bit less to play for, because they're not exactly fighting for the title, but they're not exactly in the top four race. But at the same time, again, their Tuchel cannot coach attacking football with the personnel that he's got. And I'm not gonna fall for the trap of saying their players aren't good enough, because they are good enough. Because at the start of the season, it was supposed to be a 4-horse race. At the start of the season, there were 2 Chelsea squads on the map. At the start of the season, everyone was telling me how they're going to be challenged. It's them and City, you know. But now that shit's hit the fan, sorry for my language, all of a sudden we haven't got good enough depth. The squad's not good enough. Personally,
not enough money spent.
As the season goes on, things change. Do you know what I mean? Everyone was fighting for Saul. Don't tell me otherwise. Everyone wanted Saul. Because he's pulling up stinkers at your club, you now want to say he's not good enough. Another lie. Do you know what I mean? Another thing that Chelsea fans don't want to admit. So for me, now that you're seeing people like Christensen frozen out the team because of the links to Barcelona, then, you know, Rudiger's now seeing the links. You know, obviously they've been unfortunate with the Chilwell and Reece James injuries, who I do think, again, probably was in fact, it was game changing for them. I'm not going to be ignorant about it. But at the end of the day, they're a superpower club. They're a superpower club with a super team. 2 injuries, there is not enough for me to go, oh yeah, we're in the same as where Leicester are this season, or we're suffering what Liverpool suffered this season. No, you're not. Because if you're putting out 2 squads at the start of the season, I don't want to hear this foolishness. You've lost 4-1 to Brentford because you've gotten on autopilot. In the league, you don't feel like you have enough to play for. Well, guess what? Now you've got top 4 to play for, rude boy. And you better not lose at the bridge also. You know what I'm saying? Better not lose at the bridge to Arsenal. Otherwise, it's going to get sticky. It
will get very sticky, because as a Tottenham fan, I'm banking on them beating Arsenal, because their game in hand. If Arsenal get anything out of that, it's going to be peak for us. And obviously,
I think a draw. If you look, even if a draw comes out of that, because Arsenal still got to play United, they still got to play you. Do you know what I mean?
But their running to the end of the season is nice. Like, if you're looking from it, because they do well against teams that aren't in the top 6. Their running, I looked at it just before I've closed it, but their running is quite. Let me find it if I can find it briefly. So you got Crystal Palace, Brighton, Southampton, Chelsea, Man United, West Ham, Leeds, Newcastle, Everton. That's a nice running if you're an Arsenal fan for that top 4 position.
But it's for me, it's the Arsenal. And again, I said they killed me for this one. Troops killed me for this one. I said Saka isn't a big game player.
He's not.
And
I saw.
They killed me. Sorry, Patrick. Go on, Patrick. Go on.
I saw what you said, and you said, and obviously Troops come back and said, "Oh, he scored against Tottenham. He scored again." But I hear what you're saying, man. I mean, you know my Saka. And again, I've been. I
didn't say he'll never be a big game player. Yeah. I didn't say he's a bad footballer. But again, God's child tax. It's just because he's God's child. You know what I mean? People won't admit that Kante's not been the same player for the last 2.5 years. But again, God's child tax, smile man tax. It helps people. Do you know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, I think with Arsenal, again, if you look at 3 points out of a possible 18 against the top 4. I'll repeat that one more time. 3 points out of a possible 18 against the top 4. They've scored 0 goals against me. They again, congratulations on their 0-0 win against us at Anfield. Congratulations at their 2-1 loss against Man United. Do you know what I mean?
Or when they had a good half against Man City and celebrated that, even though they lost. They were going crazy and celebrating that. It's a lot. It's a lot.
I personally think Arsenal have forgotten what it's like to be a big club, because when they beat Leicester, when they beat you guys at the start of the season, it might have been 2-0, 1-0, 2-0 at the start of the season. These men were screaming to the high heavens, because obviously, listen, you don't usually put them to the sword. Vardy usually puts Arsenal to the sword.
Our ground.
So when they went to the King Power and won 2-0, these lot were screaming for praise. I said, have you not what it's like to be a big club? Leicester have won 1 in 7. If there's going to be a time to play Leicester, you play them now.
And you
Yeah,
look at the
and they
last
were
3
saying,
years,
yeah,
they're gonna say
You've
they
won
finished
one.
top 4, and
Yeah.
then they've won an FA Cup, we've won an FA Cup. We've finished 5th twice, they finished 8th twice. Say they finished 3rd or 4th, then we
Literally.
finish what, 8th or 9th. We're in the similar ballpark and where we are, but we're just having a transition season and we're still doing that.
Precisely. And this is why I say I think they've forgotten what it's like to be a big club, because you can't criticize their players. Whenever someone I don't know, nitpicks at a certain victory or a draw or performance, they go, no, but we played well. No, we're in a rebuild. No, you can't watch what we're doing. No, we're just focusing
It's a
on
young
ourselves.
team. We
Big
spent
man, you're
180
playing
million on.
one game a week. One game. Do you know what I'm saying? So if anything, you should have consistency. And I stick by it. They've forgotten what it's like to be a big club, and they feel like no one can nitpick at them. So again, I fear for them if they finish in the if they finish top 4 and they get Champions League, because it's going to be a whole new ball game for them. You know,
and as soon as they lose a midfielder and say a central defender, that key team comes falling down.
And then
Because you've seen before, they are very light. They've got a great 11, but outside of that, they haven't got too many. If you move Partey and Xhaka, you're looking at
bro. Middlesbrough batted them up, innit?
Yeah, exactly. Who's that? Who they got? El Neni, and who's the other guy, the young guy that come in, Sambi or whatever his name.
Sambi. Man, telling me El Neni tidy. I said, pardon me.
Yeah,
I'm hearing the pyramid pillow. Pardon me. Pardon me.
Pyramid pillow.
Let me get back to Chelsea, because I won't stop when it comes to
Arsenal.
I think Chelsea are in a good place cup-wise. I think Chelsea are a very difficult cup team. Any cup I see them, I don't want to play them. Me personally, I don't want to play them. I just think that in the league now, again, Arsenal go get that dub against Palace, which I think they're going to win against Palace. I'm going to be real. Get 2 points off for Chelsea. That game at the Bridge is massive. It is huge. If they draw, I think it's great for United and it's great for Tottenham. I personally think if you guys can find some sort of consistency now, I think that puts you in a better stead than Arsenal, simply because, again, I made it clear to you guys, their record against anyone in the top 5 is abysmal.
All right, guys, we'll go around the room quickly, talking about the Arsenal game versus Palace tomorrow. Neil, who wins tomorrow?
I want Arsenal to lose, but I think they'll win it 1-0.
Stel, what are you saying? You're mute at the moment, but who do you think wins tomorrow?
Pat, do you know what? I was on the D&D Footy Factory podcast the other day, and I said to the boys that I'm confident that Arsenal will get 3rd. I think Chelsea slip down to 4th. And again, I said that Chelsea would slip up against Brentford, because if you look at their fixtures, especially the next 3 or 4 games, Brentford, Real Madrid, Southampton, Real Madrid, then Palace in the semi-final. Now, if you look at Brentford's goals yesterday, it was a catalogue of errors. Utter catalogue of errors. I mean, you look at the beginning of the game where Tony had that chance where the goalkeeper fucked up, right? And Tony put it over the bar.
And Tony should have scored.
The best keeper in the world.
You look at the goals that Chelsea conceded yesterday. I mean, if you talk about the second one where Ziyech has popped the ball in the box, the ball's come back out to him. He's messed up the header. He's bottled it. And Brentford went to score the second goal. The first goal, Loftus-Cheek has bottled the 50-50, right? The 4th goal, Azpilicueta is being caught out of position. That team, as you quite rightly said earlier, for a team that they can't play with 4 at the back, they've got to have 3 central defenders. That's Tuchel's way. And Chelsea are more effective with that system. They made too many changes as far as I'm concerned. I know people can say to me, oh, they only made 4 changes, but you can't keep chopping and changing. If you want to gather momentum, you can't chop and change. Pulisic, get this, they hired a private plane to bring him back from the States to be ready for the Brentford game, and he wasn't even on the bench. Right? So, carbon footprint and all that bollocks, yeah? But with Arsenal, I think right now, what we're seeing with Arsenal is they're growing some balls. If you notice the Aston Villa game, they ground out a victory. Against Watford, in injury time, they were shithousing. Like, I haven't seen them shithouse since the 90s, you know? And this is what you need. You need that nastiness. And they haven't had that for a while. All right, Shaka's got that in him. But the rest of that squad, you know, the word that we're using in Cyprus is butto. He's a pussy, right? That's what it is, right?
They're too nice,
and I think now we're slowly seeing that, right? White's got that bit of shithousery. Gabriel's got that shithousery in him. You know, Ramsdale. Okay, don't get me wrong. Ramsdale's doing that a lot for the cameras because he knows that Arsenal's social media presence. They love all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
you know, they love that he does interviews with Frimpong. I love Frimps. He's a top bloke. You know, he's doing the stuff from like. Do you get what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I think, but front to back, Martinelli's got that nastiness in him. Odegaard is a quality player, and I think. You've got a team that, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Arsenal are going to challenge for the title next season. I'm not that deluded, right? But what they're doing is they're doing things the right way. They're trusting the manager. They're not listening to what social media says, because if they listened to what social media said, Arteta would have been out after losing to City at the beginning of the season, right? He'd have been out on his ass. But they said, fuck this, right? We've wasted too much time worrying about Wenger out and Emery out. We're going to do things our way. Fuck what social media say, unlike what Man United are doing right now. Fuck what social media say. Let's just focus on business and getting results. And that's what they're doing, right? I think with one game a week, granted, that's an advantage for them because it gives them time to recuperate. People don't really talk about load and volume in training, but that's played a huge part. Hence the reason why Liverpool had so many injuries last season, because players were dropping like flies, hammies, ACLs, because they're constantly playing games. And obviously COVID didn't help because they've gone from 4 or 5 months out without playing to going straight into training, balls deep, fucking hell, smashing left, right and centre. It takes its toll on the body. Same with Leicester.
Yeah.
You know? Neil, you said that Leicester brought in a new doctor. Was this quite recent?
Yeah, in the last couple of months or so from Crystal Palace.
Well, there you go, because they've probably seen all the injuries that they're getting and think, fucking hell, this medical staff isn't advising the manager properly. It's getting someone that knows what he's fucking doing. Right? So going back to Arsenal, they're grinding out victories. They're resilient. They're playing very good football as well. And they look threatening. And that's the thing. So, all right, fixtures are on their side for the time being. I know they've got to play United, which I think they'll win. I think they'll beat United at Emirates. I was going to say Highbury at the Emirates. And if the Premier League get their own way and move the Arsenal-Spurs game to the penultimate game of the season, which is looking more than likely, I think the whole, it's a derby, anything can happen, goes out the window. I think it's all about form going into that game and all about bottle. And no disrespect, Pat, I don't think Spurs players have got the minerals.
Can't say the B
no
word
way.
there.
You will not see Arsenal beat us at our ground when we are going for top 4. They don't beat us at our ground anyway. They will not beat us. In
a must-win game.
In a must-win game, we will be above them by the time. By the time we play them, we'll be above them in the league. I guarantee you that.
Wow, Pat, you see what the little fire one does?
Listen,
clip this, people. Clip this.
Yeah, I was thinking clip it as well. Jeez, he's done it on Football Terrace, so it's not the first
I've
time.
been saying it for a minute that we were finishing the top 4, and when I was saying it, and people were like, "What are you talking about?" It's like we've been slightly cooking, and you can see it. We've won 5 out of the last 6. We've comfortably put teams to the sword. We will finish 4th, man. I'm comfortable. I'm confident, and I think when we go into that North London derby, penultimate game of the season, we will probably be above Arsenal by then. Arsenal have some tough games. The fixtures are definitely in our favour. Obviously, in football, anything can happen. I do get it, but I'm confident that this team now know what they're doing. So yeah, I think
your last 2 games are Burnley and Norwich. Yeah?
Exactly. We've definitely got the
and the third one is me.
Anfield away. Anfield away is a horrible game. I don't think we get anything out of that. But all the other games are winnable.
No, you're not getting anything out of it, mate. You ain't getting anything out of that. I'm telling
you. In football, anything can happen, man. That's what I'll say. But
not that.
All the other games. So yeah, anyway, let's we've got to wrap it up now. We're up to 128, so we've gone over. My limit is always an hour 15. So no, it's been a great show, and hence why we've gone over time and not even realised. So I'm just gonna go around the room, and everyone can just obviously plug their channels and let us know where they can find you. So Neil, once again, thank you for coming on. Where can the guys find you, and what are you up to next?
Yeah, pleasure, man. Really appreciate it. No, apart from that, Beyond the 90 LCFC, Leicester City related content. Check us out. We've got interviews, I think, with Emil Heskey on our channel now about a couple of months ago. So that was really good going.
Brilliant.
Nice. So yeah, just loads of Leicester City women's, Leicester City men's. was pumping out the content. But yeah, thanks for having me on, Patrick. Yeah, beyond the 90 LCFC. That's what
Yeah, no, wicked, Neil. Thank you once again. And Mons, I know you're doing big things, but let the people who don't follow you already know. Let them know what you're doing and where they can find you.
Yeah, so I am the host of a channel called Big Six Bants. Pat's been over there. He's always he's my number one go-to when it comes to the North London derbies, especially obviously we've got one coming up when you know that derby coming up. But yeah, Big Six Bants is just a toxic banner channel between the man them really, where you say your stuff, you don't pull no punches, disclosure. It's not for the faint-hearted, man. So if you want to come take a trip to the Gulag, stare from the outside and just watch it unfold, watch the carnage unfold. That's the channel to do it. And also, guys, I hope, obviously, the guys that I met today, I'd love for you lot to jump on at one point. I feel like you guys would love it over there. And yeah, man, make sure you do like and subscribe to everyone here that we're doing. You guys are doing great things. And yeah, I think we're on 400. We're on 843 or something. So if anyone can push up to 850, it would mean the world. So yeah, and also, Pat, thanks for having me on. It's been a ball.
Come on. And Stel, last but not least, my guy, always like Mont says, you pull no punches, you talk your talk. We loved what you're saying about United. You just say it how it is, man. So yeah, what are you up to? Where can they find you?
Yeah, so if you want to listen to Premier League bullshit, you can follow Shoot the Defense. We've got a YouTube channel. But if you want Omoni and Nicosia, that one, there you go, right there. See, it's the mirror killing me. You go on YouTube, type in No Choftes. There you go. See Omoni Nicosia fan podcast, the Alpha podcast in Cyprus. And as we say, let's go.
Hey, what does that mean for us non-speaking, English only people?
Shilaka is our nickname. It's like the dogs. Yeah. Right. And I can't repeat that, but it's like fucking let's go.
Okay. Love it, man. Always up to learn. Always open to learn new things, man. So yeah, still, once again, thank you for coming on, man. And obviously, I'm Patrick Tyrant, one half of Youth TV official. Our guy Sems couldn't be here today. He's feeling a bit under the weather. So still, obviously, a Superman United fan stepped in his place. So thank you. I'm here, there, and everywhere. I'm on coys.com once a week. That's a massive Spurs platform where we talk, obviously, all things Tottenham. I'm on the Football Terrace, the Top 6 show, and other shows at least once a week. And then I'm, as you guys know, just wherever people invite me and want me to jump on their platform. So, yeah, man. But in terms of this is Everyone's a Pundit, episode 97. It's been a pleasure chopping out with you guys. We're back on Sunday, 8:30 p.m. We'll be talking about all the games from the current week. We'll be obviously discussing the Arsenal Crystal Palace game. And yeah, until next week. Actually, like, subscribe, and follow us. Share the links. Follow all the guys that have been on the show. We'll put all their links and descriptions in the thing. And yeah, till next week. Take care. God bless. I'll catch you soon, man.
Peace.